Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today the topic is going to be Proton 10. Now if you have watched the channel for about like 3 months now, which I don't think you have, but like anyway, because my channel is pretty new, I have 100 subscribers, of which I think like at least 2 people watch my videos every single time. But if you do watch my videos every single time, thanks a lot. So for the people who were actually there in February, I discussed Wine 10. So if you don't know what Wine 10 is, we can quickly introduce you to what they actually changed in Wine 10. So if you didn't see the video, you can go watch it and actually see what it improved. But yeah, they actually enabled the Wayland Driver, not by default, but when you unset the environment variable, which was $sign display, it actually let you actually run programs which were then exclusive to Wayland, now through actual native Wayland. So now you could run your Windows programs, which mostly for us Linux gamers is the games, through Wayland native on a Wayland session. Now, it came with its flaws, and I did discuss the flaws in that video. You can also go and check other people's videos about the same topic. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues it has, but mostly for my use case, which was Far Cry back then, it was pretty fine. So now, in the end of the video, actually, if you do remember that video, I said that Proton is going to come 2 months from now, right? So Proton 10 did actually come, but it didn't actually bring up the Wayland driver with it. So people were saying that like GloriousEggroll will actually bring a version of Proton which would have the actual Wayland driver not enabled, but that was able to actually enable the Wayland driver. And that version actually came out a few days ago. Actually, 3 days ago, if you go by this post. I don't know actually when it came from, when it actually released. Let's actually go and see. So we have GitHub here. We're just going to open this. Yeah, 3 days ago. So it came out with a lot of fixes, which I will link this down below if you want to actually go and see what it actually fixed, besides like the whole the Wayland driver thing. And here we go. We've got Wine Wayland, which is the driver. It just tells you that the mileage may vary from game to game. Again, my personal use case was Far Cry 1, by the way, and it did work, but you playing some other game doesn't mean it will actually work. So if you are playing Far Cry 1, I do recommend it, but for other games, and we'll get to the point really soon, I am not going to recommend actually using Proton. I would say it's actually easier to run it through Lutris, but we'll get to that a little later. So how do you actually enable this Wayland driver? So if you don't know, you can actually set launch options to Steam games. So for example, we've got free Steam here. We can go to properties on Quake Champions, which is my game of choice, and we've got this. Now I don't know I'm not going to say what this exactly does. It's another video, you can check it out. Quake Champions performance issues. I'll have it somewhere up there, or maybe a link to that down below. Okay, so this is my launch options. What I'll do to actually, if I had the version like the Proton GE Proton 10.1, I would add this, and it will actually do Wayland support. Have Wayland support, and it will actually run through the Wayland driver, which is also cool. And here we go. We've also got Wine HDR. So you can actually enable HDR right here. And you can also enable both of them at the same time, right? If you don't need, this is basically, all of this. I mean, it's not like, it's not like it's some rocket science and stuff like that. But yeah, here we go. We've got all of the fixes. But what I did notice was, I remember distinctly back in December of 2023, Um, I was making a video about like Proton, actually how to install custom versions of Proton on Lutris and also Steam. You can also check that video out. It's quite a good resource if you do want to actually install custom versions of Wayland Proton on your Steam slash Lutris installations. I haven't done it for bottles, but if you do want to have a tutorial for that as well, you tell me down below. So I do remember distinctly that in Proton 8.25 GE, which is this version right here, I still have it, even though I actually changed the OS here. I still have the version. This is a version I actually installed back in the day, back when I was creating that video. So I remember distinctly that with this version, you had hardware accelerate and mouse acceleration in Quake Champions disabled. So back then, I actually didn't know that I was running through. I was running a mouse acceleration in Quake, which is an oopsie on my side. Yes, it is. But bear with me. So I just changed it when I actually saw there. I mean, basically, Proton 7 had a lot of glitches without tabbing. So what I did was I actually installed Proton 8 and started to actually experiment with that. But also that also had some issues regarding like the mouse pointer not showing up. So what I did was I actually installed Proton 9, and Proton 9 evidently it had stuff that was merged into Proton 8.25, which is not upstream on 8, the Steam version, the official version of 8. So yeah, it had some formula shared from like 8.25. So it basically inherited mouse pointer acceleration being disabled in every single game from Proton 8.25. Which was, yeah, I just got used to it, so that's really good. And it's, I mean, if you're actually using an older Proton version because like for some reason your mouse sensitivity goes down, I do recommend actually checking out if you do have mouse acceleration enabled or not, because that might be impacting your gaming experience a lot. So when I did that, I actually got a lot better at like aiming and stuff like that. So yeah, I got back to my Windows days of actual gaming because in Windows I actually disabled my mouse pointer acceleration, which I didn't need in games, but it's quite a nice feature to have on desktop, right? So with that, we come back to Proton GE 10.1. For some reason, the issue they fixed with 8.25, right? This version right here, which was released back in December. So I was actually wrong with the December part. Proton 8.25 GE was released on November 22nd, 2023. I actually recorded the video on the 1st of December, and as you can see, the next version is actually from 2024. So this was the last version of 2023. So yeah, as of this build, we had a great option. It was actually better than Windows because I had my mouse acceleration on desktop, so I could move around my three monitors easily. And in games, I had no mouse acceleration because I didn't need it, and I had more precise aim. Now, in Proton GE 10.1, I encountered a bug, and that bug is that mouse acceleration is back. Now I do have like a theory on why it's back, and the reason is that like maybe like they did it through the X server. So maybe X Wayland, so it was running through X, right? X had raw input enabled, but now when it's on Wayland, it's not implemented properly. Now, if this is speculation, I don't know how the code works. I would love to know how it does, so if you do know, tell me down below. But this is speculation that the Wayland Driver and how it actually uses the mouse and actually gets input from the mouse is different than how the Xorg does. And I do understand like they're different, so yeah, I do understand how it could be different, but I'm not too sure about it. So yeah, it's like a step. It's like going a step backwards. So if you did want to actually try this version for gaming, I do not recommend it, especially if you're playing stuff like Quake Champions, where you do need like that precise mouse movement in check. I would recommend you to stay on Proton 10.1 beta, this one, the official one from Steam, because that will provide you an insanely better experience in terms of actually moving your mouse. I have already reported this on the Discord of GloriousEggroll, but the thing is, like, I do not think that was enough. Or maybe it's being fixed by now, because some people did actually say, yeah, this is true and it's been fixed already. Now, I don't know exactly what happened. They showed me this page where it actually got fixed, which is a fork from Valve's Proton, which is another custom version, which is called Proton EM. Now, I don't know who this is or how they actually fixed it, but anyway. The thing is, it can be fixed, and most likely it will be really soon. But as of now, as of this version of Proton GE, the latest version, let me just go back to it, this version here, I do not recommend using it if you are a competitive gamer. If you're fine with actual mouse acceleration, I don't think you should be, but if you're fine with it, you can use it. But I'm telling you, it's easier to actually use the Wayland implementation for now and then change to Proton GE later on. That said, there's actually a way which I implemented personally to actually fix this issue with Wine. So what Proton is, or at least what I understood about Proton, is just basically a bunch of patches implemented on Wine, which, yeah, you can also do on yourself using stuff like Lutris and Bottles or Heroic. Yeah, so you can also do this basically DIY. All of these should be options in Proton, so these stuff, but they're enabled by default or they're not. Lutris, on the other hand, and Wine as an extension is more versatile. You can actually enable a lot more things like manually, and this is why I believe Lutris still gives you the superior experience in that case, because I do like tinkering, and it seems like Lutris does enable me to tinker more with what I do, like what I install, like what I run with Wine. That's why I still like Lutris and Wine for that extension. For some great games, it's actually easier to run it through Lutris than it is through Steam. I've only seen a couple of examples, but yeah, you get the point. So what you're going to do here is you're going to press Advanced right here in the game options. So what we do is just we go back to Configure, we right click Configure and press Runner Options. We go down to Mouse Warp or Override. Make sure this is ticked, because if it's not, you're not going to see it. You have to press it, and here we go. We've got the stuff going on here. Let me just actually open it again. So yeah, here we go, Mouse Warp or Override, and you're gonna force it, because if you put Enable, sometimes it doesn't work, and in the case of like Far Cry, it didn't work, so I just forced it. And if you actually search up mouse, it's just gonna bring up this option as well. So if you warp override it, it's just gonna start working magically, and your issues will be solved, and you'll have no mouse acceleration problems on Wine using the Wayland Driver. So yeah, that's basically why I like Wine. In some cases, I do prefer Wine over Proton. As much as Proton is basically a creature comfort, and it's really good, and its invention was really good for the Linux community, I still do like Wine and how much you can customize it compared to Proton. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below. If you like the video, please like it. So it gets, recommended to a lot more people, and a lot more people can see that this version of Proton has issues, and maybe they'll avoid it until the next version comes up. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!